Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zita, and on my channel I share with you DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me over on my socials at Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Etsy. So let's get started on today's DIYs. So today I'll be participating in the Thrift Flip Road Trip hosted by our friends Teresa over at Our Green Acres and Trish and Kay at Crafting Cousins. And today I'm starting my road trip in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. And once you finish watching my video, don't forget to check out the playlist in my description box where you can check out all of the other creators participating in this Thrift Flip Road Trip. So let's get started on my DIY today. For my first DIY, I'm going to be making this beautiful coastal beachy sign. So I picked up these cactus frames from Habitat for Humanity, and I'm going to be using this beautiful navy blue on here, which looks very beachy and coastal. Now guys, I used about 5 coats of paint on this to cover up that print. So I would suggest maybe trying a black on it first, which I've done with some of these frames before, and that way it'll cover up that print a lot quicker. So here's my 5 coats of acrylic paint dried, and I gave that a light sanding with a 220 grit sanding block, and then I wiped away that dust with a very damp cloth. And once that was dry, I applied this polyvine sealer, which you can also use for decoupage, and this dries to a dead flat as they describe it. So it'll look like your paint looked before you applied the sealer. And I applied that all the way around the frame on the front and the sides. And while that was drying, I designed a coastal saying which says, "Life is better at the lake," which you'll see coming up here very shortly. So I designed that on my silhouette cameo, and I just colored it in that blue color because my vinyl is going to be that same color. And I found some vinyl at the Dollar Tree, guys, like colored vinyl, and this one is a permanent vinyl. So for $1.25, I thought I'd try it out, and they had a whole bunch of different colors, so I picked up a whole bunch of different colors, and I thought this is a perfect color for a coastal sign or beachy sign. So I'm just cutting this saying in different pieces because I'm going to apply it to different areas of the sign, and I thought it would be easier to apply with the transfer tape. So I'm just cutting away the excess here, and because I'm applying the vinyl directly to the sign instead of stenciling it, I'm just gonna peel back my vinyl. But first I'm just gonna apply a hot glue to my shells here that I'm gonna apply, and I also picked these up at the Dollar Tree, guys, so if you're looking for some shells, they have some. And I did also use an E6000 glue on this, guys, because it did kind of come off with just the hot glue. So I applied some E6000 and some hot glue, which I didn't get a video of. So you may want to do that, apply some E6000 or some super glue along with your hot glue, and that stayed on there. So I just placed my shells where I wanted them at the top, and kind of you know, to see where I wanted to place them. And before I applied the bottom ones, I started to apply my vinyl. And again, like I said, I just gonna apply the vinyl directly to the sign instead of doing the stenciling. So I just peel back that excess vinyl and then applied my transfer tape, and I'm burnishing that down just to make sure it comes off nice and clean. And then I applied that first word, and then I'm gonna do the same with the rest of the words. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And I thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And if you do, also click that notification bell, and that way YouTube will notify you when I post new videos. So let's get back to our DIY here. So I'm just kind of burnishing down the vinyl that I've applied just to make sure it's sticking properly, but I'm going really easy with that little burnisher there because I don't want to rip my vinyl or take it off with it. And there's the last piece. And I made a couple of different font designs on this. Now I'm going to place my shells at the bottom, and I just put 2 at the bottom as well. And again, you can use E6000 and hot glue, or super glue and hot glue. That way you know it's going to stay on properly. So this one is almost complete, guys. So let me know in the comments what you think of this one, and if you guys are into the coastal and beachy kind of decor in the summertime. For this next DIY, I took an old thrifted wooden bowl, and I'm going to make it into a coastal roped bowl. And again, I'm using the Miss Mustard Seeds Eulalie Sky milk paint. And I gave that a couple of coats, and you'll see, guys, that it started to peel back after I gave it 2 coats. And I didn't sand this down because it was kind of scuffed up when I purchased it, but I guess I needed to sand it up a little more, or I needed to apply some Fusion Ultra Grip if I wasn't going to sand it. That way it will help the milk paint to adhere to the bowl better. You'll see coming up here what happened. I love this color though. This really looks beachy, doesn't it? Looks coastal. See, guys, this is what happened. So this is what I scraped away the what was peeling back, and I used the Fusion Ultra Grip on it, and then I applied some more paint. I think I applied a couple more coats of paint. So if you're going to do something like this and you don't want to sand it, apply the Fusion Ultra Grip, or something that's going to make the milk paint or chalk paint adhere to the piece better. Right here, I'm going to wrap the bowl in twine. Don't press the hot glue down with your fingers, like I kind of did right there. It's really hot. Use some metal or something. And I'm just hot gluing it all the way around, and keep applying that twine. This takes quite a bit of time, guys, I'm not gonna lie. But it's worth it in the end. It looks beautiful, and it looks very coastal. And I painted a little bit around the bowl because I wasn't sure if I was going to go all the way to the top or not, but I did go all the way to the top with the twine. Doesn't that look beautiful? I love this piece. What do you guys think? What do you guys have taken all that time to wrap it around? All right, here guys, this is an awesome technique. And so I had some interior white paint laying around, and I put some dish soap in there. I put a little bit too much water in on the first round. And then I'm blowing some bubbles, and I'm going to let that drip in the bowl to give it that sea foam effect. So here I added some more soap, and you can see the bubbles are a little thicker, a little more dense, so it was easier to apply to the bowl. So just go around the bowl and put as much in there as you'd like, and you'll see it gives it that nice kind of sea foam effect. Have you guys tried this before? Let me know in the comments. What do you think of this effect, guys? I love it. And here I use a Fusion clear top coat to seal in the paint. I did let it dry for a couple of hours before I applied this top coat. Doesn't that bubble effect look awesome? So there's the before, and there's the after. For my final DIY here, I have this Caddy that I've had on hand for a while. So I'm gonna give it a refresh and make it look more summery, more beachy, more coastal with this beautiful turquoise color that I picked up at my local Dollar Tree. So if you guys are looking for some paints, guys, check out your local dollar stores. They usually have lots of different colors and a lot less expensive. So first I'm going to give this 2 coats of this beautiful turquoise color around each side and on the front and the back of the piece, and I'm going to leave the inside white. And once this color was dry, I decided it needed a little something more. So I took that navy blue paint that I used earlier on my sign, and I gave it a little blue around the edges. Kind of made it look like it was distressed without actually distressing back the piece. And I love this navy blue and this turquoise color together. It's beautiful. And I also thought I'd give it something a little extra also besides these 2 color paints. And I'm gonna dress up the front and the back and the sides with these beautiful IOD stamps. And this line of stamps is called Sprigs. So these are new stamps, guys, that I picked up. So when you get these new stamps, you're gonna want to give them a light sanding with a 220 grit sanding block or sanding paper, just so your stamps have some tooth to grab onto your ink or paint that you're going to apply. So I'm going to use a navy ink here that I just bought, and that's going to tie in really nicely with the navy paint that I used to kind of give it that distress look. So I'm just going freehand here right now, guys, without using a thin mount or a block. I guess I was feeling a little brave that day, because usually I don't feel confident using these because I've dropped them in the past, I've smeared them, so but they turned out pretty good freehand. But I'm also going to show you how I used a little block that I picked up at a dollar store that will give you a little more control when you're using the stamps. So I used some different sprigs here on the front, and then I did some different ones on the side. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys have used these IOD stamps or some other type of stamp, and if you guys feel confident using them, or you feel a little nervous using them, like you're gonna drop them or smear them. I've gotten a little more confident using them over time. I've used them in quite a few projects now, and they have so many beautiful stamps. So I just bought a couple new ones just recently as well that you'll see in some upcoming videos. So like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So here I'm applying my stamps to the side, and I'm using a long one there for that center. And then I'm just going to apply a few different ones on the sides of that. And I also picked up some little stamps from the Dollar Tree that were only like $1.25, guys. So if you need some, you know, inexpensive stamps, check out your local dollar stores as well. You can find some little ones there. And the ones I'm going to be using had some butterflies, which I'm going to apply along the side here. So these are the clear stamp applicator set that I picked up at a local dollar store, guys. And there's 3 different sizes, and it has a handle that you can take off and apply to whatever size you need for your project or for your stamp. So I've put my sprig stamp on one of the blocks, and I'm just going to apply that to the other side. So you have more control using something like this, guys, especially with this handle on there. I find that really helps. Now I have also used a fondant applicator in the past as well that has a handle on it, and that worked pretty good as well. So I'm using this applicator to apply those sprigs all along that side, and I'm going to do the same with the sides. And I'm also going to use these little applicators here to apply a butterfly to each side. So those are the ones I picked up at the dollar store, guys. They're so cute. There's some dragonflies in there, a few little word sayings. So yeah, check out your local dollar store. I've picked up a few different stamps from the dollar store. They're little, but you know, you can use them on some projects somewhere, right? Like this little butterfly. That worked out great for the side there. I have some IOD butterfly stamps too, but they were too big. So these little dollar store ones worked out great. So what do you think of this project, guys? Isn't this color beautiful? And those stamps worked out beautiful on there. So guys, I hope these summer beachy coastal projects gave you guys some inspiration. I thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.